When we are working with indirect painting and painting in layers, we will often see a phenomenon called sinking in. That means that when the painting dried, the paint actually dried at a more matte appearance, and it looks a little bit lighter and grayer than when the paint was fresh and wet. Now, I don't want to paint near or next to information that's sunken in. That's because I don't see the true nature of the paint that is actually down on the canvas. So this is a phenomenon called sinking in. So we can get around that by doing something that we call oiling out. So in order to oil out, what I want to do is take a clean makeup sponge. I'm going to dip this makeup sponge in a little bit of oil, clean linseed oil, and I'm actually going to dab off the excess of the oil. So when I come to the canvas here, let's say I'm going to be working just on this red terracotta piece right here. It would be important for me to see what this actually looks like. But what I'm also going to be doing is oiling out the surrounding area so that I can make better judgments about what I should be doing here. So again, I have the makeup sponge with a little bit of linseed oil on it. I've dabbed off excess, and then I'm going to oil in. As you can see, the paint resaturates with color. This is the true nature of the paint that is down on the canvas. So I am going to oil in using this little bit of linseed oil, the whole area around the terracotta ceramic piece here. What I'm also going to do now is take the dry side of the makeup sponge or a brand new makeup sponge, and I'm going to try to remove any excess linseed oil. We do not want a lot of linseed oil on our canvas. There's two things that can happen with a whole layer of linseed oil that hasn't been painted into. One thing that can happen is that little bit of linseed oil can collect and actually create drips on our canvas and harden, and we really don't want that. Also, if we have a whole layer of linseed oil down on our canvas, what happens as it dries and oxidizes is it will actually encourage yellowing in the painting. So we want to minimize the amount of oil that we have down here. So for that reason, I'm taking that clean side of the makeup sponge and making sure to take off any excess linseed oil that's on here. Now I'm free to work in this area. I never actually cover the entire canvas with linseed oil. It would be nice and convenient to see everything, but normally once I'm working in later areas and I'm really getting the sinking in happening, this is really enough for me to make confident decisions because I've made more advanced decisions nearby. So this is the phenomenon we call sinking in. We never want to make value or color adjustments related to these sunken in areas. We want to oil in and make good, clear decisions.